Wednesday edition of Pro Football Talk Live. It's going to be a full weekend of football with one more game broken out from the pack. I have complained from time to time about how we wait all year long for football season to return, and then 1 o'clock Eastern on that first Sunday is the equivalent of Christmas morning with all of your presents spontaneously unwrapping themselves, and they're springing around the room, and you can't keep up. It's been 20 years or so now that they've broken out a Thursday night game to start the season, and now we've got a Friday night game for the first time since 1950, a Week 1 Friday night game. We've got the Eagles and the Packers in Brazil, and I haven't seen anything about the X ban since Friday. For all I know, it's been resolved, but, you know, I texted the group about this yesterday. What? Twitter, X, whatever. You can call it either one, I guess. I texted the group yesterday to see if there was any, because, like, people are asking me, are they still going to play the game? Like, why wouldn't they play the game in Brazil? Just because a social media platform is banned, that they're going to uproot the game and just drop it in Philadelphia? It doesn't make any sense. But people think it.
Because of that, or
which,
because
of course,
of
people think plenty of things that don't make any sense, but there are people who think that they still might move the game, which is ridiculous at this point.
Oh, I didn't realize that it would be for that. I thought it would be because of some other security concern. I mean, like, I don't really understand why you would move. Having experienced when they moved a game from an international location to the home location when the Rams were scheduled to play the Kansas City Chiefs, in Mexico City.
Oh, the field was a disaster. It was a disaster.
Yeah, the field was a disaster, right? Like that's the reason that you would move it, right? That not because of something else, unless like there was something else really, really serious going on. I'm sure the NFL has contingency plans, but yeah, it doesn't seem like that's anything that we need to worry about right now.
Yeah. We're 2 days away from that game. That game is happening exclusively on Peacock, by the way, but on over-the-air markets over-the-air channels in the markets involved, Green Bay and Philadelphia. We've heard some chatter from some Eagles who aren't all that thrilled about going to Brazil. Haven't heard any of that from Packers players recently. Josh Jacobs said some things about it months ago. Here's Jordan Love talking about the difference he feels going into his second year as the full-time starter in Green Bay.
Yeah, week 1 last year, there's a lot going on. It's my first year starting. There's so many question marks surrounding me, surrounding the team. So, I definitely wanted to go out there and have a great performance, and I think we did that. But there was, it's just a stressful situation. But I was just trusted myself and was confident in my ability. And like I said, just treated it like another game for me, and had to really go back to my college days and my mindset for getting ready for game day and things like that, because it's been a long time where you're not really processing, all right, I'm starting this game off and taking the first snap, and you're not on the sideline, being able to kind of see what the defense is doing while the starter's out there. So it's different, but I guess, having that year under my belt makes it easier this year.
Won a lot more confidence than last year. It was rocky at first for the Green Bay Packers and for Jordan Love. About halfway through the season, it all changed, and it culminated in the team getting to the divisional round, almost beating the San Francisco 49ers, and Jordan Love matching Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence as the highest paid player in NFL history at $55 million per year on new money average. So I think there's every reason for Love to feel a higher degree of confidence, comfort, and everything that goes along with going into that second season. You mentioned C.J. Stroud earlier, and this is a good compare and contrast, because there are some that think, oh, wow, defenses have had months to figure out what C.J. Stroud does, and it's going to catch up with him. But nobody says that about Jordan Love. In theory, that could apply to Love, but I think part of it is because Love got so much better as the season went on. That's usually when you'd see a guy dip, because they see the film and they figure out what he does well, what he doesn't do well, etc. The fact that he had that acceleration and that improvement late in the year, I think it makes it more likely he's just going to pick up where he left off. And I think Stroud is still going to be fine too, but it's just weird to hear that about Stroud. Oh, they're going to figure him out. They've had months to figure him out. And nobody's saying that about Jordan Love, unless the take is he was so good they've just given up trying to figure him out.
I don't know if you give up trying to figure him out or all that, but I do agree that Jordan Love, was really, really good toward the back half of the season. Last 8 games, and this is something that I looked at once, and now I really can't forget. And so I did write it down too, so it's not that it's just off the cuff. But, his last 8 games, 18 touchdowns, 1 interception, 70% completion rate. Like, that's really, truly elite stuff. So that span, he had a 112.7 passer rating. What's passer rating? What does that mean? Anything over 100 is pretty good. And Lamar Jackson led the league last year at 102.7. So we're talking about somebody who's literally 10 points higher, all right, at that. And that's what he was doing over the last 8 games. So like I said, he was elite at the quarterback position in the last 8 games last year. That's part of why they were able to beat the brakes off the Cowboys, because he played so well. And then you get to that next round against the 49ers. It doesn't go as well, but that's still a first-year starter, So I'm really high on the Packers this year, and it's in part because of what Love was able to do in that second half of last year, where he and LaFleur were just on the same page pretty much every single week, and they continue to get things done.
It's amazing how it unfolded, too. I remember when Brian Gutekunst, the GM of the Packers, was available to the media at their bye week, and he made the comment, these next 8 games are very important for Jordan Love. They had him under contract for 1 more year. The money wasn't so significant they couldn't have just eaten it and found somebody else. It's not like they had somebody they could have put in to test out, but still, he was basically playing for his future. His status as a starter, the contract that came with it, and he went out and seized it. And, hey, if you're going to choose, do I want a guy who starts slow or finishes slow? I want the guy that starts slow and finds the gas pedal and takes off, because he's getting it done in the higher pressure games of the season, carried it into the postseason, embarrassed the Cowboys, and almost knocked off the 49ers. Would have set up a Packers-Lions NFC championship, and that could be what happens this year.
Okay, you have a chance to win $1 million in the NBC sweepstakes on Yahoo Fantasy. Just download the redesigned Yahoo Fantasy app or go to NBCSports.com/fantasymillion for additional details. What are you waiting for?
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.